Hi, St. Andrews. My name is Julie Wood. I'm the minister of Serve, and as always, it is my joy to be with you for today's morning moment. Hey, if you've got your Bibles, I would encourage you to grab it, open up to the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4, and we're going to begin here in verse 8. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each one should use whatever gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. If anyone speaks, he should do it as one speaking the very words of God. If anyone serves, he should do it with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. Well, what a powerful, packed invitation that exists in these few verses. Where for those of you who heard Chap's sermon this last weekend, you know that much of what he spoke on was about love. And I remember when he was talking about what it means to bear one another's burdens, literally to bear it as in to put it on our shoulders and carry the burdens of others. As he was talking about that, I thought, how often do I only love when it's easy to love and don't go the extra mile to look for the opportunities to love when it costs me something, when it's heavy, when it's burdensome, when it's inconvenient, when the person that's before me, God's giving me the opportunity to love, maybe isn't the easiest to love. And then this passage invites us also, obviously, to love and do so overlooking a multitude of sins. Meaning I don't get to play judge and jury. I don't get to decide whether someone is worthy of love and worthy of my bearing whatever it is that it costs me, worthy of the extra mile. My job is simply to allow God to be God over their sins and for me to live into the invitation to love. So often in the Gospels, we see Jesus looking someone intently in the eye, or placing his hand on their back, or stopping because he hears their voice, or showing up at their home. And generally, the people he does this with are people who society around him, even the religious leaders, say they're outcasts. They've sinned too much. They're not the right political party, or they're not a Jew, or they're a woman, or they're a kid, or they're too old. They're the oppressed. They're the sick. And yet Jesus models for us consistently what it looks like to love in everything that we do, and that's our invitation. Secondly, in this passage, it says each one should use whatever gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. Now, I love hospitality, but much like love, I like hospitality sometimes on my terms. I love to throw a good dinner party. I love to have people over. I love a good game night. But here, in this type of hospitality, it's linked with grace, and grace in the various forms that God provides it. So often I think we want to extend hospitality to those, again, who are easy to love. Well, what about our homeless neighbor? What about getting out of my car on my way home from work to sit down and to go, having picked up a hot meal and sit and have my dinner on the sidewalk with that homeless individual to learn their story? What about inviting neighbors who are Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist or homosexual or a totally different political party? What about inviting those people into my home, into your home? I bet for many of those people, they've never been invited into the home of a Christian. Because we so often, if you're like me, tend to stick with our Christian circles as opposed to thinking, Lord, who is it around me who doesn't perhaps know you? That's not to say all those people don't know God, but many of them don't, or they believe in a different God. Who is it around me who doesn't know you? And what does it look like for me to offer hospitality and to extend your love in how I serve and how I welcome? That struck me this morning as I was meditating on this passage. And third, in verse 11, it says these words, ones that I find incredibly convicting. Now, I'm going to share it with you in the way that I memorized it years ago. And it says, if anyone speaks, he should speak as it were the very utterances of God. Oh, friend, I don't know about you, but so often I don't think that my words reflect him. I want my words to be ones that surprise people, particularly in times when they don't think that I'm going to say something that extends grace or kindness or love or compassion. I want my words to be ones that just literally fall over someone like a healing rain, a healing water. Because that's what the words of Jesus would sound like when they land on us. We might have words of condemnation for those who don't believe in the same things that we do politically, ideologically, when things just don't go the way that we think they should. And yet it is in those very circumstances that we are called to love and to speak words as if they were the very utterances of Jesus Christ. And finally it says, if anyone serves, he should do it with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. Friends, as we serve, as we love, as we extend hospitality, as we speak, all of those are expressions of God's love. And because he loved us, we now are commanded to love others. It is the greatest commandment. As I look around at our world, as I look around society today, they're longing for something beyond that which they know. They're longing for a truth that they can grab onto, for a hope that is lasting, for a love that is purer than that which they've ever known. And you and I might be the only expressions of God's love for that individual or for that group of people that they will ever know. Let's not be so busy in our days. Let's not be so stuck in the way that we want to love and in the ease of our normal societies that we're not willing to stop and to take every opportunity to love and to serve and to extend hospitality and to wash over people with our words of love that comes from above. What an invitation for us as we go into this new day. Have a great one.